Good morning, students. Welcome to the virtual classes provided by DAV Thermal. In previous lecture, we have discussed the nutshell summary of lesson 6, the luncheon. Today, we will discuss in detail. See this thing, as you know, this story, the luncheon, is a story of a middle-aged woman who was a very glutton. The narrator of the story is an upcoming writer who makes both end meets with difficult. It means he belongs to a middle class family. One of his readers, a woman of about 40, writes to him that she would be passing through Paris, where the narrator lived, and would love to have lunch with him at the Fiat. Fiat is a very expensive restaurant and meant for senators. However, he is disappointed. When he meets her, he finds the woman to be in her 40s. Now, the author has 80 francs in his pocket. He calculates that a modest lunch would cost him 15 francs. So he decides to make up for the loss by cutting out coffee for the coming fortnight. The moment they enter the restaurant, the woman repeatedly claim that she hardly eats anything for luncheon, console him. Sometimes she would declare that she eats just one thing for luncheon. Then she observed that people eat far too much. Her claim and observation sounds very amusing. So the guest choice is jolt to the narrator even then he ordered for the host. The waiter asks the woman if she would have something as the salmon is being cooked. Once again, she asserts that she eats just one thing for lunch, that she wouldn't mind a little caviar, that is a very expensive dish. Finding himself in a very awkward situation, the host chosen mutton chop, the cheapest dish available there for himself, because he was worried about the payment of the bill. When the question of a drink comes, the lady asserts that she never drinks anything for luncheon. Even then, she shows her interest in having some champagne, a white wine. While white wine, according to her, are very good for digestion. No wonder the narrator orders water for himself and half a bottle of champagne for the woman. As the guests eat large mouthful of caviar salmon, she merely talks on art, literature, music, whereas the narrator wonders where the bill would be. So once again insisted that she never eat anything for luncheon. She doesn't like the idea of leaving Paris without trying some asparagus, another very expensive food item. The narrator feels ill at ease. Then narrator now start making plans as to what he is going to do if the bill overshoot 80 francs. He decides that if such a situation arises, he would pretend that his pocket has been picked. However, if the guest too doesn't have enough money on her person, he will leave his watch, adding that he would come back and pay later. The waiter adds to the torture of the host by bringing a basket full of large sized peaches. The guest chooses one very casually. The bill amounts to 77 francs. When the bill came, the amount was 77 francs, and the host leave a tip of 3 francs with the sense of guilt. As the narrator walks out of the restaurant, he doesn't have a single penny in his pocket. He has to meet the expenses of his entire month. As the guest bids goodbye to him, she once again insists that she never eat more than one thing for luncheon. For the first time, he irritated and he wouldn't eat anything for the dinner. However, the narrator has his revenge at last when, after 22 years, they meet in the theater. He finds to his great satisfaction that the woman weighs 21 stone. It means her weight was 133 kgs, which calculate to a little over 133 kilogram. So what should we have to learn? One should avoid excessive eating. So only then we have to maintain our health. I hope all of you understood this story, how a lady make him a penniless in one lunch. So tomorrow we will discuss question answers. So you have to read this lesson thoroughly at home and try to solve question answer. Thank you. Have a nice day.